Chunka.
Oh man, well, it is another live, man. We here, we about to cook up, man. First off, before we get going, shout out to the Average Man Unplugged for showing the clip off the Charm Hour on his show. We really appreciate that. We appreciate being involved in the conversation and what we talk about. This is not red pill talk. This is not alpha beta talk. This is not manosphere talk. This is manhood, masculinity, real talk, stuff that we should be talking about as men. So I want to get that clear. A lot of y'all put labels on what we discuss here, but it's the truth. I got my man Rob J 10X.
Hey, what's up, man? Hey, also, I want to clarify one thing too, man. I was really just disappointed because.
Wait, hold on. Before you start that, let me introduce Grizzly because I know.
Okay, go ahead.
And we got Grizzly Adams in the building too.
Yes,
Rob,
sir. Let's go,
Rob already ready to cook. Go ahead, Rob.
Oh no, I was just saying, hey, I was disappointed because I feel like I don't do nothing but try to assist my community. So when I said something that I thought was an objective thought, and then people typecast me as a misogynist, it angered me a little bit. So that's why I felt the need to kind of read a roll call. But one thing about leadership, man, you can't, if you sign up for leadership, part of the job is being misunderstood. So, saying my aggression towards people, I apologize for that. Now, what I don't apologize for, anybody that's threatening me with physical violence, that's a whole different story. So whatever come with that. But my, my intention is not to offend anybody, just to clarify.
Appreciate that, Rob. I think that was noble of you. What you got, Grizz? You got something to add to that?
I think it's funny, dog, that the minute you start questioning the Democrats, you got called a maker, right? The minute you not hopping on this emasculation and getting and afraid to say what's right and wrong when it's situation dealing with black men and black women, you become a manosphere nigga. You feel me? You become a red pill. For one, the red pill ain't nothing but no different from the red pill you seen on the Matrix. It's somebody who deals in reality, right? That it's no different. But I just find it crazy that the people, man, we gotta be honest. That it's no different from you questioning a political party and somebody automatically putting you on the other side.
Feedback. You got a little bit of feedback on your mic. I want to make sure everybody hears you.
Oh yeah, can you hear me now? Is it better? It's crazy. Yeah, I just don't like that automatically. Oh, you with them? Like, come on, bro. We old enough, right? We grown enough to make the differential of who's who and what's what. But even with us always getting changed, manosphere, I'll take it. I don't give a fuck either way. Really.
I think what these pop culture scenarios are telling us, whether it's political, whether it is pop culture, is that specifically as it pertains to black people, rational thinking is out the window. Rational thinking is out of the window. Everything is victimhood. Everything is somebody, the boogeyman is after me. And there's no solution in sight. That's what I've noticed with all of these scenarios, that nobody wants to think rationally. Nobody wants to engage in any type of conversation as it pertains to our people or anybody from the sense of just using logic in your brain. Especially when it comes down to men. I feel like our men in our community exemplify, especially day to day online, some of the most cowardice, sensitive behaviors towards dialogue and discussion. And that is, I'm not saying that to insult anybody, even though it's going to come off as insulting, or incite any type of violent behavior. It's just to show that we as men have a long way to go in dialoguing as just men. We should be able to sit down and look at any topic or a situation and say, we're going to navigate this using our brain, and we're going to detach from this situation. We're going to take our emotions out of it. We're going to take our emotions out of whatever the case may be. So it's like the first thing I was talking to Rob about this earlier, and then I'm going to land, and let y'all take over. But I was talking to Rob about this earlier. I was like, man, a lot of the people that comment on our post, they're not commenting about the actual situation. They come from a personal, some type of personal feeling towards what we're saying, maybe even to us because we feel a certain way. You can just tell in the dialogue because it's never a good critical debate. You can ask questions and people dance around it and just automatically go to victimhood. I mean, we see
Hey,
it every
and
day.
to your point, and like I was saying earlier, what I be the most like feel the most cheated out is great discourse, because like we've lost, like it's like make debate great again, right? Just because you can't say that because someone sees something differently from you, they're an idiot, they're a weirdo, they don't this, they're a misogynist. Like, why not stand on? Matter of fact, I got an idea. Let's do a quick role play. Pause. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna play the role of a Cassie supporter, right? And you play the role of your point. And I just want to give an example of like how like, and then we're allowed to disagree. We don't have to call each other names. So go ahead and say how you feel.
Okay, I believe that Cassie, by all the evidence that I've seen, seemingly to me, she's complicit. She's complicit in this entire thing. Uh, Maybe domestic abuse is Diddy guilty of that? Most certainly. Is Diddy guilty of domestic violence? Most certainly. But what he's on case for, what he's on trial for? I think that the prosecution is having a difficult time proving that he's guilty of that. I think that if we're talking about the crime as it is, which is sex trafficking, and from what I see and what I've heard, I believe that Cassie is complicit in that crime. Is she? Was she abused during her participation? It seems so. Was she again? Was she physically fought on? Yeah, I mean we saw tape of that.
Yeah,
Um,
but
Go ahead.
with all due respect to that position, in order for you to have that position, you have to dismiss the abuse that she went through. We already know about Stockholm syndrome, where people develop an affection for the abuser. We talked earlier about Jim Jones, where this man convinced people to drink poison, kill themselves. We know about Waco. Like, so we know that there is a history in America of cult-like behavior that will train people to act outside of their best interest. So if you're just looking at what she did and we take that out of context, well, then yeah, she looks complicit. But and the data is still out on the psychological impact of domestic abuse. So it's like, in order for you to see what she was truly going under, you have to look at it from a view of empathy. I think it's disingenuous to just judge her specifically off her actions without taking any of that into play.
Hmm. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
I think when it comes to that, when you say that, and I'll take the backlash, and then I don't care about the studies of domestic violence when it comes to this. I don't care about it. Like you said, like the brother said on Twitter, you ain't never heard a judge say, yeah, he's guilty of selling drugs, but at 15 he was approached by Big Tyrone, and Big Tyrone telling him, if you want this money, you want to get this money, this women, you have to sell these drugs. And if you sell these drugs, you can get those one, and he was coercing to it. So I'm not gonna give him 10 years. I'm gonna give him a slap on the wrist and send him home. You don't get that benefit of the doubt. The court doesn't. It's crazy that we having that conversation because earlier I had a lady on Clubhouse. I was in one of the other rooms. I had a lady on Clubhouse literally tell me, well, you're not looking at the science of it. The brain doesn't develop to 25. If she was abused, listen, none of it matters in the courtroom. The courtroom want to know, is the evidence that you did a crime? Is the benefit of the doubt that you did do the crime? Like you say, it's a reasonable doubt that you did do the crime. The fact of the matter is she did the crime with him. And we know that for a fact, right? So I'm not, me personally, I'm not even looking that far into it about domestic violence or sexual, because you know what? That wouldn't save my ass. That wouldn't save my ass. It
Yeah, but
wouldn't.
let's be fair. Let's just be 100% fair, right?
Okay.
Let's say that you had a woman, right,
Mm-hmm.
who was pimped on by a pimp, right, and she was,
Okay.
as a pimp is called, a quote unquote, his bottom bitch, right. So she
Yeah.
was being pimped on, exploited for her body, et cetera, right. And
Yeah.
as he began to grow his stable, his bottom B wounded up being an enforcer of the pimping. His bottom B
Okay.
also beat on the chick, also beat on the that. Can a person who's also being can a person who a crime is being imposed on them be guilty of the crime as well? Like, would that be the case? In that case, it's almost like the bank robber concept, right? If us three go to rob a bank, I might just
Mm-hmm.
drive the car. If y'all get out and rob the bank and kill somebody, I'm still guilty of murder. So in that
Yeah.
case, you know what I'm saying? If there you to throw out grooming altogether, I don't know that we can really fairly do that.
I think if it's a law against grooming, they charge him. If it's not, according to the law, she's guilty. She's guilty. She did it too. Whatever they trying to say on the sex trafficking charge, and they said he used. They said that the racketeering is because he used money from his company, which she's a part of the company, which money she used. So she's guilty of it. I don't think you got to throw it out. I'm not. I'm not even debating your point. I'm debating what the law says. The law says if you commit that crime, you go to jail. I can't go over there and go knock down and knock down one of the bloods in your neighborhood and say, well, they shot us up last week, so I returned fire and I get caught. They're not going to give me the benefit of that doubt. I committed a crime, no matter what pressure I'm under. I'm never going to get that benefit of the doubt. If we're going to start doing that based off coercion or somebody putting pressure on me, then shit, let's do it across the board. If not, I don't want to start it. There's too many niggas in jail for having that excuse that they never get to use when it's time for sentencing. So that's just my take on it. I ain't gonna lie to you.
So
Unless we switch it.
you don't think that domestic abuse is different than me being scared of being jumped into a gang?
Hey,
I, I
hold
think
on.
I
Hey,
think
Courtney,
yeah.
something weird going on with your mic. Can you go
Man.
fix that feedback? Yeah, something because everything you saying, I know y'all about to cut
Yeah.
him to
Yeah.
fit. Nothing he about to
Yeah.
say.
I don't I'm not and it's crazy because you got this rule, you got the what you call what you call it? The 412 rule. You know about that?
Mm-mm.
So the 412 rule is that you can only use certain evidence against someone who was a victim of a sex crime or that they feel was a victim of a sex crime. So a lot of stuff that she's done, they haven't even spoken on, and they can't. The prosecution won't let them, and the judge is going to adhere to it because it's a rule called a 412 rule. So they're not even telling you everything she's done that the defense wants to use. So she's already getting it. And if anybody listening to this, when we get done, y'all gonna look it up. It's literally called a 412 rule. So I think I get it. I'm with it. I understand it. But here, if they can use that evidence they really got and show that she was complicit, then she's complicit. She should be charged too. We can
But
talk
knowing
about
what we know,
all.
right? Knowing what
Yeah.
we're learning about mental health now, to just throw out a person's state of mind that we
Mm-hmm.
know for sure. One thing we know for sure, that this woman was physically abused. So
Okay.
now we're gonna throw out her state of mind and
Mm-hmm.
in her and look at her actions without context. I don't know if it's fair to really, like, if we're just trying to objectively observe something,
Mm-hmm.
to really do that.
Are you
I think.
familiar with the okay, so are you familiar with
Mm-hmm.
Marilyn Manson and the murders that he committed?
I know briefly, vaguely about the story, but not all of them. No.
Okay, so Marilyn Manson ultimately gets charged for these crimes, but he didn't physically do it. I mean, he's held till this day. Like, he got life. He's never going to see a light of day because he influenced a cult that he started of women to commit some heinous murders.
Okay.
Those women still went to prison for the murders. They didn't get ultimately what he got, but because they committed this heinous crime, they still were charged for it. And even though they were abused, even though they were manipulated, and you can put it under the label of Stockholm syndrome, you can put it under all these cult labels. In the court, actually, took that under consideration. They did. I don't think those women got. I think those women did quite a bit of time. I don't know. I don't exactly know their sentences. I'm pretty sure they were stiff, but not as stiff as his. The point is this: abuse, physical abuse, mental manipulation, does not excuse you to be able to commit crime. It doesn't. Now, it can be it may have it may lessen your charge, it may lessen your sentence, but it does not excuse you in the fact or exonerate you from committing crime. It just doesn't do that. So no, we definitely believe, because we have proof that people can be manipulated into committing crimes. There was a young lady, I do not know the exact their names. This was like a Netflix documentary, but this girl ended up going on trial for convincing her boyfriend to commit suicide.
Okay,
Like
I'm
she
familiar with that.
actually, yeah, she actually told him to do this, and she went on trial for that. The court definitely sees cases and will hold people accountable for mental manipulation. It's just what it is. But
True.
at the end of the day, I don't think I haven't seen anything as far as any cases go where somebody just was completely exonerated for a crime because they were mentally manipulated into doing so.
Not exonerated, but we do regularly see immunity for people for testifying against someone who committed a bigger crime. That's a pretty regular thing. BMF, Megan and Stallion, Kelsey has immunity. So it's not foreign for us to see immunity given to the person considered to have committed a lesser act of a crime. So it's not for Cassie to not be charged with what she's doing in exchange for testifying. That's pretty common practice for a major Fed RICO case. Look at Lil Woody. Like that. That's not. It's par for the course.
I mean, but even with this case though, are we proving sexual trafficking? Like, is the prosecution doing a good job of proving that?
I mean, and that's again, that goes back to are we talking by law or by, so we may think that sexual trafficking is kidnapping some girls, throwing them in the back of a truck, putting them in a car, blindfolding them, and taking them somewhere that they don't know. But by law, sexual trafficking is just simply bringing someone across state lines for explicit acts. So by law, now let me pause right here. I don't even believe what I'm saying. I'm just like, I'm just showing an example of how you could present a rational argument without the other person being an idiot. Because what I'm saying, there is some validity. Now, if a person really stood strong enough on that point, they actually may have a good point. But I can't say that you're a chauvinist, you don't care about women, you don't believe this, that, and the other because you disagree with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the point, like, that I'm just trying to prove, like, is that, like, we have to learn how to disagree. One thing that was great today is Malcolm X's birthday, by the way. Happy heavenly birthday to Malcolm X. One thing that was brilliant about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King during the height of the Jim Crow era, they could go and sit and have a civilized conversation with someone who believed the exact opposite of their point of view without ever even talking this loud. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen Malcolm X flustered. I've never seen Martin Luther King lose his composure. But like if a person simply sees something different than you, they're an idiot. That's the part that like I don't understand. Like, and if we just like, I don't know, like it's like we don't know how to respond without making it hella personal.
I mean, like you said, we deal with absolutes. It's black and white. We don't have no type of rational thinking about. Look at what we just talked about in this conversation, and I knew what we were doing because we already said we were role playing. Okay, so we
Yeah.
were trying to show and demonstrate all the niggas out there who can't do this how it can be done. How two black men can come together and have a debate and actually learn something. Because you taught me something in this conversation. I never go into any conversation wanting to know everything or rule the entire conversation. But the issue is when we're debating, all we can go off of is personal experience. And they're usually going to be traumatic experiences. Like I said on TikTok, I said this on TikTok and it didn't cause a ruckus. What I said was stop comparing this situation to your baby daddy. You fucked
Wow.
with your baby daddy because you wanted to. You fucked with that nigga because you wanted to. And you take these situations or these like the Megan Thee Stallion situation or the Diddy situation and start making a case for DV victims and all this other bullshit. You don't know how somebody could be manipulated. You hoes ain't went through no shit like Cassie. Cassie was a 19-year-old girl who wanted to be rich and famous. And she saw a rich and famous guy and she would have gave that cat up no matter who. Nobody could have stopped her. And you can't tell me she didn't know what was going on in the industry because she was already in the industry. Y'all
Yeah.
can't separate the two. You start taking a crazy situation like that and comparing it to your knucklehead ass baby daddy that Big Mama told you not to fuck with in the first place. And now we on Facebook arguing about DV and Stockholm syndrome and shit like that when y'all barely even know what that is. That's the
Mm.
problem. So we can't get here and actually have a great debate because most of these people aren't even well read. They don't know this information. That's why they get offended. And the only thing they can say is you're misogynist, you're sexist,
Mhm.
you hate black women. Like I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna land. Like I said on today on Facebook, on this platform, we didn't told y'all about lust being terrible. Listen,
Mhm.
make no bones about it. Diddy and Tory Lanez are in this situation because of lust. They are in
Mhm.
this situation because of lust, money, misuse of power. We've said that here. We talk about that. But we cannot hold women accountable for their decisions. God punished Adam and Eve. He didn't just punish Adam. And
Hmm.
I believe that in the story, in the tale, Eve was the less capable. I believe that she honestly didn't understand what was happening, but she still caught the punishment. Why? Because ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Factuals. I think when it comes down to it, I think I think we're under this spell. I feel like sometimes when we get into this argument, it's like it goes into the gender war, but the gender war kind of goes back to like the racial war. It's always the same, and it seems like the like what they say. Anytime a war happens, the first casualty is the truth. And I think in this situation with them, I think it's just hard for people to see her being complicit in it, and that's cool. And that's cool because you don't. Do I think what was going on was messed up? I do, but I think in life as a black man, since we eternalize everything we discuss, right? Not us, but just as a whole. Like so when Rob J was giving that, I want you to see how I kind of did the whole eternalizing it. I immediately said, well, shit, if I got caught doing it, shit, I don't have to pay for it, so she got to pay for it. You feel what I'm saying? Like, they wouldn't have no lenience on me. I couldn't go tell on somebody that I did something to and I was complicit and they just let me free. Even if you snitch, you're not going to get free. You're not going to get it free. But I don't like to internalize things. I think it's no way you can have this conversation with people from our community because they've been pressured politically to internalize everything. Everything is about sex and race with that other side of the party, right? Everything. So of course, every topic, people are going to go either it's going to be a gender war or a race war. That's what's happening with the WNBA right now. You know what I'm saying? That's what RG3 and and Ryan Clark going at it about right now. You know what I'm saying? So I think our people, bro, we just it's just a lack of emotional intelligence to have regular conversations. Like I'm not putting myself in anything. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not a sucker ass nigga that see somebody post something about cheating and be like, oh man, I got cheated on before. So man, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit really like I'm not trying to connect with you Negroes on a traumatic level ever, bro. Ever. With none of
Hey,
this.
but that
I
still
don't
took.
need it.
Hey, but that still took self awareness to realize. Damn, you know what I just did. I just
Yeah.
internalized it.
Mm-hmm.
A
Yeah.
lot of times we can't like we're immune to the idea that we could be wrong. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? And that's the
Yep,
problem with a
yep.
lot of times, you know what I'm saying? We can't a lot of times we can't do that. We can't take a step back and say, wait a because I had to learn how to listen. No one ever taught me how to listen. All I was taught was how to respond. When old people talk, be quiet. When someone looks at you, look them in the eye. No one ever taught me how to listen. I had to learn. I was 30
Mm-hmm.
years old before I learned how to listen. And I realized, like, you know what? I don't actually hear what people say. I hear
Mm-hmm.
how I feel, and then I fill in blanks if I'm not clear. So if you leave, you know what I'm saying? If you was like, hey Rob, man, I you know what, man? Uh hey, I like what you say, man, but sometimes less is more. This is how I used to think. Oh, what you saying? I
Mhm.
talk too much? Oh, okay. Damn, I'm just on this podcast view. Who are you to judge me on what I got to say? We supposed to be part. That's how I used to think. If you would have told me one thing, I would have. My response would have been not to what you said, but to what I felt. I had to learn how
Mhm.
to. I had to learn how to listen. You know what I'm saying? As a
Mhm.
30-year-old man, and I was like, wait a minute. I'll be responding to stuff. I'll be making up stuff that I respond to. And like, but
Mhm.
that's common in our community. Like, we will get mad at somebody for something that they totally never said. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Even if the very person tells you, if I came off that way, I didn't mean to. That's still not enough for a lot of us. We'll still be like, no, what I felt that you said is what was really said. So I'm gonna respond to
Mhm.
that. You know, it's like that's what I think we got a real, like I told Drew earlier. Like I thought that one of the things I wanted to do was kind of present philosophy, present critical
Mhm.
thought, present these type of exchanges because I thought like that would be like healthy for us as a people. I think really, to be honest, I think our people, all our people need right now is encouragement. That's all we
Mhm.
like. We haven't made it past the encouragement phase.
Mhm.
All 90% of what the blacks need to hear is you can do it. That's the supreme message we need right now.
Well, you know,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna add to that. We're still in the we need black leadership. We're not in the collective coming together and moving forward with the goal. We're still in the we need a black leader. And in the absence of black leadership, we're very much so confused. And we've talked about that so long. Well, who's going to be the black leader? Who's the black leader? Who is the person that's going to lead us? Because we are still in the developmental stage, men and women. We are very much so adolescent like, men and women. And that is in part due to fatherlessness, broken homes, which is really the basis of what I've been talking about on this channel the entire time. Because we have a arrested development. It's just what it is. Because what you just said, hey, I didn't learn how to listen until I was 30. And I think a lot of the development we go through as men is pretty normal, but somebody of wisdom has to come tell you that. That's why I've talked about earlier on my stories, and I've been talking about something called the levels of masculinity on the Charm Hour. Is because masculinity is it comes in stages. You have boyhood, adolescence, you become the responsible man, and then you come the covenant man, who is married, taking care of family. We've seen the silent generation really operate from that space, but it's a spectrum and it takes time. A lot of times, in your 20s, you're still living out that adolescent stage. There's a lot of
Mhm.
brothers that don't even graduate out of that stage, and they got jobs and they got kids, but they still operate from that adolescent stage, even in communication. In the adolescent stage, we rebellious. Our experiences make who we are. That's where we at. Cause I was there. You think you know everything. I've had this little experience. It defines me. It's hard to talk to me. It's hard to pass down wisdom, and that happens with us a lot of times as black men. To your point, Rob. At the age of 35, I made a choice that I was going to be a student of life. At 35, I said, I'm committed to learning. I will commit myself to learning as much as I can because at 35, I realized I don't know everything. And it's looking like I won't know everything. There was a man in his 80s when I was getting out the Navy who told me, he said, and at that time I was in my mid 20s. I've probably told this story before. People have heard me say it. He said, do you think you're a grown man? I said, yeah, I'm grown. I'm 25. I'm like, shit, I'm grown. I'm paying bills. I'm married at the time. I'm paying bills. That man told me, you're not going to be a grown man until you're in your mid 40s. And the longer I began to go through the stages of life, and now I'm 40, I understand what that man meant. I definitely, and that was wisdom coming from an elder. I think I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna land. in our community, we praised, we have always praised being young. That's the hip hop generation. Everything is young. Well, I live to be past 21, shit like that. We have praised being young. We have not valued getting older. We have not
Mm-hmm.
valued mentorship from older men. We have not valued mentorship from grandfathers because the entire Black community has been based on being young. Even these women, look at these old ass women shaking their ass in the camera. You a grandma shaking your ass in the camera. We have based everything off of being men, grown ass fucking men, 40 some years old, wearing these old bell bottom ass pants like these young niggas. We have valued being young. We do not value growing up.
Mhm.
I think it's funny you ended with that because Nas had a song when he said the African Americans are the children of this world. I think you could look on Facebook. There's always somebody telling you, "Oh, I'm 35. I look young, don't I? I look like I'm 28, don't I?" It's almost like a fear for us to get old, even though we've seen so many people perish and get deceased before their time or at a young age. I think what's crazy about what you were saying though, ultimately, I think that in the community about the leaders, I don't see how we could ever have a leader in this current era of thinking, right? Because we can't have a conversation into which I challenge you. Not even that I say you're wrong. I can't even challenge what you're saying. You don't have to be a leader. You don't have to have any good qualities. But if you want running with the same exact rhetoric as the crowd, and I challenge it, then I then become an enemy of the crowd. You feel what I'm saying? So how are you going to have a leader? Because people be like, the leader does this. The leader's going to challenge everybody. The leader doesn't leave a stone unturned. If he see you doing wrong, hey, let me talk to you. We can't have a leader because we're going to destroy him. And we could say that they set us up like this because I guess they kind of did, but in the way that we're thinking, we have too many non-independent thinkers to have somebody come challenge it and stand on the forefront. It's always going to be something. And then we have too many bought. We got too many bought people, right? They gonna come and whoever gonna come and throw them a little money. And no matter how good they seem, that dimension's gonna slowly start turning. When you thought Dr. Umar was cool at a point, even though he didn't have a school, you thought it was cool. Then you slowly see bro start doing the little pandering shit to black women, purposely misleading them, right? Because pandering, we talk about it like it's harmless. Like, oh, you just going to women. Now, pandering is purposely misleading women. Like, it's a purpose misleader. It's almost something that a snake would do. You know what I'm saying? So you get the minute you get them, even on the other side, when you get somebody you like, you conservative thinker, then he's kind of slowly gets off the path of black people. You know what I'm saying? Rise. He like, damn. When I've been watching this for a while, I'm like, damn, like, why can't we get somebody that stay forefront, especially when it comes to politics? But I'm like, fool, if they come and they doing politics, they're never gonna get ahead because nobody's gonna push them ahead if they're really standing on business for the community. And on top of that, the we discussed. I want to say something else. I want to say something else. We discuss a lot of things on this channel, bro. One thing we always discuss is the hypersexual degeneracy. And it's been times that people threw that back in my face. You might not know that, Drew. People was like, oh, you be talking about this. But clearly, this topic, what Diddy's going through, doesn't happen if bro's not a sexual deviant, right? This doesn't happen. But we never get chopped up for for speaking on that. We never get chopped up for speaking on telling grown men, hey, you got two kids with that, two, three kids with that woman, marry that woman, bro. We never get chopped for that. We always say that because at the end of the day, the black family, every problem we have is a branch on the tree. At the root of that tree is a lack of family structure, bro. So when you address things on this podcast, let's talk about the totality of it. Whoever watching about what we really try to talk about for the community, not just these hot topics. You feel me? But that's all I want to say about it.
Hey man, to your point, and I'm gonna let you go and chime in, Rob. Uh, that's exactly correct. We have talked, I noticed that, and this is like this on TikTok. Even whenever we're talking about perversion and whenever we're talking about correcting perversion, no one says anything. When we talk about premarital sex, it gets real quiet, or the only opposition you get is, well, everybody's not going to do that. Well, how do you think we got here? How do you think we have a Diddy? This is, I asked y'all this a couple shows ago. I said, does a 19-year-old girl, I asked this with Shannon Sharp, does a 19 to 20-year-old girl have autonomy? Meaning that she can make decisions on her own. Y'all get into catch 22 because y'all know that these young girls that's a legal age to have sex. A lot of y'all was having sex around that time. So if you're gonna say that somebody can legally have sex at that age, what do you mean she can't have sex with a 37-year-old man? You just said she could have sex. You're okay with her having premarital sex. So what do you mean she can't just go be a part of an orgy? Because you're already okay with the perversion. You're already okay with something that's defiled. So you get mad when she goes participate in something wild. It's the same thing with Tory Lanez. We're gonna kind of get over in that area because y'all done got real sensitive about that. Tory is in that situation because he wants to have sex with two for homegirls. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. If you ain't been a player out in these streets, I'm gonna inform y'all. You can have sex with a whole friend group off popping one of them. I'm just for those of y'all that hadn't had that
Facts.
experience,
Facts.
this conversation is not for you. For those of y'all that don't believe it can happen, you just ain't had that kind of lifestyle. But I'm here to tell you, one rumor can have you having sex with homegirls. And I'm gonna tell you why that's very dangerous. Depending on the closeness of these friends, and depending on what you're telling them, that's a Molotov. It didn't have to be Tory. It could have been
Yeah.
Rob J. It could have been
Mm-hmm.
anybody. It could have been any one of us up here in that situation. He is in that situation because he decided to operate from lust. However, we know that when women are hurt, we know when women feel played, they gonna lie. I do believe Megan Thee Stallion lied. I believe her homegirl lied. It's proof online that she lied. And they got mad. Well, one of them got mad and put a man in prison because of it. It's just what it is. A lot of y'all out here, your baby mama, if she could, she'll put your ass in prison. When we say this and when we tell y'all this, it don't mean we hate women. It don't mean that we don't want to protect black women. We just wasn't born yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we saying. That girl
Mm-hmm.
lied. If she lied about fucking him and she lied about where he was and the position of where he was that night, then I know that bitch lying about a whole bunch of shit. Y'all ain't never been lied on by a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you niggas get on here and want to cape so hard for whatever reason. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know whether you covering up the shit you did or you feel bad about
Mm-hmm.
how you used to treat your old lady, but you get on here with a cape like it don't happen. These women, if you fuck them over, I'm not saying that Tory didn't, because he did. But if you fuck these women over and they like you, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna do everything in their power to fuck you back.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what we're just telling y'all the truth. This does not mean that that girl should have got shot. This does not mean that we not excusing Tory. We not saying what this is proven, and I'm gonna land this plane. What this is proven is that when you are living in chaos, I'm going to say it again. When you are living in chaos, these are the results of that. I've said on this channel, umpteen's time, y'all didn't heard it. When you're not having sex with your wife, you're causing the chaos. Women, when you're not having sex with your husband, you're living in it. It's chaos. It's a bunch of chaos. That man created a chaotic situation. And ultimately, the truth is, whether we want to accept it or not, whether it's right or wrong, you reap what you sow. That man is in prison because he let lust lead the way. But Megan Thee Stallion's reputation is on the line because she lied. So at the end of the day, no matter where you are in this world, when you break those universal codes of ethics, you pay for it. No matter who you are, no matter where you are, you pay for it. And that's the male-female story in a nutshell. No matter what you think, no matter what you're trying to tie into your trauma, if you break those universal codes of ethics, lying, stealing, cheating, deceiving, blah, 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 run down the line, you're going to pay for it.
Hey man, I don't know, man. I still gotta say the verdict is out, man, because I'm like, if you didn't shoot her, why you didn't testify? If you didn't shoot her, why you didn't, you know what I'm saying? Why you didn't fall on your sword defending yourself, man? If you didn't shoot her, what was the call to Kelsey about? I'm not saying that he did do it, but I'm gonna go ahead. I think if anything, he got a good shot at his appeal. But a guy coming out the blue, just one guy saying that after the case has been tried, now Tory left a lot of room on the table to take away. He could have took away reasonable doubt. He could have sat on that stand, said, I didn't do it. She did, this, that, and the other. It'd be no reasonable doubt. He wouldn't be in jail. So
Well,
I don't know. I'm still waiting for more information.
two things. I'm gonna. This is all speculation, by the way. Two things. One, if something happened to you, your story not gonna change. Megan's story changed too much. If I got up here and told you an incident that happened and how it went down, I can repeat that incident verbatim the same time every time. Anytime you are in a case or any situation, you hear this from people, witnesses. They're going to tell the same exact story over and over again. She switched her story too much for me, so I just don't believe her. Second of all, that nigga know he caused that shit. He feels guilty. He don't want to say that girl did it because he trying to keep his real nigga card because it's like, damn, I'm going to be fucking you over twice. So what he did was he left it in the hands of the law. I believe this. He left it in the hands of the law. He gambled and he lost. Make no bones about it. I still think he's responsible for the entire thing. He knows that. But as far as the actual crime committed, I always thought it was just too weird. It doesn't make sense. Listen, you can go look this up. I would implore anybody to go look this up. She has a live where she talks about where he was positioned in the car. Then she gets on Gayle King and positions him differently. Then she says she wasn't sleeping with him, but it comes out that she was. It's too your credibility is not there for me to now believe what you're saying is true, and it's going to line up with all of the fragmented tales that they've all been telling. It's like, okay, this more so makes a lot of sense because okay, yes, you might have had this gun in possession, but the gunpowder isn't on you or your DNA isn't on the gun. Just eyewitnesses are saying this. It all falls in line to it being one big lie. Again, he's in prison because of his irresponsibility. He's in prison. Go ahead, Courtney.
I think that's a good way to look at it about him causing it because we know, like I always say, the sex becomes demonic at a point in time. It's two things that run parallel: the money and the sex. It's crazy. Some people use the money to get the sex. Some people use sex to get the money. But the love of both is very demonic, and it does cause a lot of chaos. I think in that situation, her lying about saying, "Oh, nobody shot me at first," and then saying, "I stepped on glass," and then you see the actual footage of her getting out the car with the cop saying she just stepped on some glass, and then her saying that she didn't sleep with the nigga. We know that was a lie, right? We knew that was a lie from the jump. Her saying she got shot in both feet. Then she come back and say she never said she got shot in both feet. She got one. This extra video. So it's a lot of lies. You feel me? It's a bunch of questionable answers in that situation. I do agree with bro. Bro probably should have handled that better. I'm still kind of interested on how the friend found out that him and Megan was sleeping together. I guess she probably couldn't hide it after a while because how they put it was flirting or whatever. But I think you definitely got to be careful in situations as a man, bro, because as you see, it's never going to go your way, bro. You have to listen. I tell women this all the time. You can argue about how you feel. You can argue about how you think it should be, but this is how it goes. So I gotta tell men the exact same thing, bro. It doesn't matter how you feel, or how you think it should go. As a man, you know how this is gonna go for you, bro. So you have to work extra hard not to put yourself in that position as a man. You got to, bro. You got to. And we're in a different time, bro. 20 years ago, certain stuff happened, and you could downplay it, and it wouldn't go. Right now, bro, I'm always telling my kids, like, hey, bro, things go from 0 to 60 very fast nowadays. It's like everything goes from 0 to 60. So I just think that as a man, bro, this is how this shit is. It's not that a motherfucker like me not gonna fight for you and say what's right and wrong. You know what I'm saying at the core of it. But we know when you step in front of that judge, bro, you know 9 times out of 10 it's not gonna go in your favor, bro, because how you viewed already. So we gotta work extra hard. At some point, though, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking to myself, y'all, whoever listening, that we gotta have that discipline, bro. It's not even about having the discipline. It's just you have to let that shit go, bro. Like me personally, I just try to let that go. Any kind of feeling, any kind of lust, I just let it go, bro. I just let it go and fight against it daily, so I don't end up in fucked up positions that deletes or whatever. You feel what I'm saying? But I don't know if people gonna listen to us on that aspect, you know, because that seems to go in one ear and not the other. The telling the black men and black women to protect your genitals seems to be like me telling them to give me some money on Sunday, pay their tithes to me. They just not with it, but we'll see, bro.
Hey man, let me say this. You know what I'm saying? I, to your point, we believe that freedom is doing what we want to do, and we want to be able to do what we want to do without the consequence of our actions. Um, Lust is just, listen, man. I'm just gonna be very vulnerable right now, as a man, as a single man. I know better than to go out here and casually have sex with women. They just can't handle it. You know, their rebuttal is gonna always be, well, you can men can't handle it. They get, possessive. That may be true, but for the most part, many men, a lot of men just want sex from you and they want to go about their business. That's not something that women are built for, and really men aren't built for either. However, I think men are more prone to have casual sex, go home, and forget about it. And that woman is stuck with that closeness or that yearning to be with that man. And a lot of times that turns into a volatile situation for that man. But you have to understand that if you by now don't know that you are having, when you have casual sex with this woman, you're going to put her in that position. You deserve everything that come with you. You deserve everything that come to you. So nowadays, I'm just like, I just rather wait until I get my wife, or just whoever that's gonna be, or when I get remarried. It's going to be a better life for me if I just make that decision. Because you get with a chick and you having sex with her, you don't even know if you want to be with her like that, or it's casual and she get pregnant, then what? Or she begins to feel a certain way about you that you don't really feel. You're just kind of leaving her there as damaged property. That's what it's like. So we have to, they don't like it out there in TV land. They don't like what we're saying because they want to be able to go out and get their rocks off. Look at every post you see in Facebook groups. Everything's about sex. Your whole timeline, all your story, everything is about sex. Everything is sexual. And these same women that's talking about they want to be wives is shaking their ass in the camera. These men are looking at this. What do you think he's thinking when he sees this? How do you think he views you in his mind? Everything is fueled by sex. These niggas not even letting their beards gray and their hair gray out because they trying to look younger to get some thought that they can screw on. So nobody wants to hear this information, but I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna be landing this because we wasn't gonna keep this live too long tonight. I'm gonna say this as we wrap this up, and if anybody wants to say any last words, you can. But I want to say this: everybody has gotten on a post, or everybody has gotten in the comment section to argue everything that we've said, with the exception of what we just said, which is be responsible, make marriage great again, be with your family, put sex in its rightful place. Why y'all don't talk about that? Y'all get on here and get mad at everything else. Y'all talk about, oh, she being abused. You don't understand abuse. You don't understand how predatory your man is. Well, why don't we collectively come together and say, hey, we can just end it with this. Make marriage great again. And I know a lot of y'all are going to get on here and say, but marriages fail too. Well, deal with that when you get there. Go to marriage counseling. Put God in your marriage. But at the end of the day, why don't you put sex where it belongs? Why don't you be responsible and have a family? Since we can't agree on anything else, we can't seem to agree on anything else. And then we have all these issues coming up. Why can't we just say, hey, maybe it's best if you be here? And if you don't want to participate in something like marriage where we think is more responsible for you, then you must eat whatever comes with your action. You have whatever consequence comes, shut your fucking mouth.
Yep. Yep. I think it's crazy just to learn that, just you know what I'm saying, just to understand it. Like I said, the black community got 1,000 problems. They all branches on the same tree. Roots of that tree is a lack of family structure. Like bro said, get married, bro. Get married. Let's calm it down. Let's keep it to a minimum. I know a lot of people want to agree with that, but if y'all pro black, what's so hard about doing it for the community? If y'all so black, at what point do you knock off the individualism and do what's best for the community? If y'all so black, what are we doing? All right, that's it for me though, bro.
Hey man, it's been another charm hour. Y'all already know what to do. Y'all get in the comments with your, you know what I'm saying, critiques, criticism. You know we're gonna respond to it. Hey, for
Mm-hmm.
anybody that's tuning in, or you tuning in after the fact that we've gone live, hit the like button. Y'all know when y'all hit that like button, YouTube's recommending this channel. We want everybody involved in the conversation. We got a 50K sub campaign going on here at the channel. We know we're gonna get it. We need
Mm-hmm.
many people to come together and have these type of conversations so we can then guess what, incite change in our community, because that's what we want to do. Hey man, again, I'm Boy Dru the Charm God. I love y'all. I had Grizzly with me. We had Rob J 10X. We love y'all. Peace.
Oh, Charm God.